What's good, defenders? And you know what time it is. Of course, the night before the match means that we get to do one more sleep. Welcome to Defenders of the Bank. Thank you all for watching us, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days. Thank you so much for being a part of our evening, and thank you for letting us be a part of your evening. We are headed to Atlanta. That's right. LAFC headed to Atlanta, our personal house of horrors. LAFC has been awful when we play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We lost 5-0 the first time we played them back in 2018 there. We lost 1-0 when we played there in 2021. Only one player on the club played in both of those matches, that, of course, being Edward Atuesta, and only one other player on the club actually played in that second match in 2021, being Jesus Murillo. So maybe it's a good thing that a lot of these players have not played in Atlanta before, but you know me, it's Scarf. I like to do my research, and so I took a look at how LAFC has fared in either NFL or NFL-sized stadiums. I think they played in one college football stadium as well. So NFL or NFL-sized stadiums. And it is not good. For all of you black and gold faithful out there, when LAFC has played in an NFL or an NFL-sized stadium, 19 matches in our club's history, we have won exactly 3. We have won 3, lost 12, and drawn 4 in NFL-sized or NFL stadiums. And since 2020, the numbers are even worse. 13 matches, just 1 win. And that win was at Lumen Field in Seattle. 1, 10, and 12 in NFL-sized stadiums since 2020. But even though we've been terrible at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, we've never actually scored there. 1-0 and 5-0. And even though we've been terrible in NFL-sized stadiums, just 3 wins in 19 matches and 1 win in our last 13, we might be catching Atlanta United at the right time. They are simply not good right now. And I mean not good at all. Winless in their last 8 MLS regular season matches, 0-4-4. And yes, they advanced like we did into the round of 8, the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. They did so against the Charleston Battery, and they did so by not scoring in regulation. In fact, it went 6-5 in PKs for them to be able to advance. So they're not even scoring against the U.S. Open Cup, USL Championship clubs that they are facing. We might catch them at the right time. The other good thing is their 2 biggest guns might not be available for this match. We know for a fact that Georgios Giakoumakis, boom Giakoumakis, he is absolutely an incredible goal scorer for Atlanta United. He is out with an injury. And Thiago Almada, yes, World Cup winning Argentinian Thiago Almada, has been dealing with a calf injury, listed as questionable, was at practice, but I do not think that he is going to be able to go a full 90 if he is able to go at all. And those 2 are massive. Thiago Almada may be the best talent in Major League Soccer, especially as a midfielder. I know about Lionel Messi, and I know Chicho Arango is having a wonderful season, but the talent that Thiago Almada has, pretty incredible. And one of those just absolute straight number 9s in Georgios Giakoumakis, an incredible goal scorer that he is, not going to be available. So these are good things for LAFC. Atlanta, like we mentioned, winless in their last 8. They are 12th overall in the East. They haven't won an MLS match since March 31st. That's right. March 31st was their last MLS regular season win. And like I said, they're just not good right now. winless in their last 8, can't score against USL Championship sides. No Yorgos Yakumakis, no Thiago Almada, and here comes LAFC. We have been very, very good as of late, as you all know. Our last 3 matches, 3-0, 2-0, and 3-0. In fact, including stoppage time, we are nearing 350 minutes, I believe, straight scoreless. And I got to go back. I don't even think I added the last 34 minutes or so since we gave up that ridiculous header to the Las Vegas Lights. We may be getting close to almost 400 minutes. That's right. 400 minutes. I think we're about like 325, 330, somewhere around there of scoreless defensive play. Absolutely wonderful by LAFC. We haven't given up a goal, but we've played this like bend but don't break defense. Excellent team defending. I don't think any one defender has really stood out, although I will mention Maxime Chanot has been incredible in this last stretch. He is showing us that he is one of those special defenders that we have needed to come along. Really like the way Maxime Chanot is owning things in the air. Jesus Murillo playing okay, a little bit better as of late. Aaron Long had been looking good, so it's good that we have the depth kind of coming back in our center backs. We saw, if you guys looked on Instagram, Ryan Hollingshead getting on the plane to Atlanta, so we will at least, it looks like, be of having Ryan Hollingshead services available to us. It won't just be Sergi Palencia and Omar Campos on the back line. Gomez Jr. asking about David Martinez. So I did hear the word fracture when it talked about David Martinez's back. He may have sustained a back fracture and probably not close to coming back just yet. I've heard anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks from some sources, but I did hear the word fracture when it came to talking about David Martinez's back. So with a kid that young and that talented, apparently a little bit injury prone, you want to give him as much time as possible. And look, maybe with Tomas Angel finally getting a little bit of run and obviously getting that big goal that we asked him about in the press conference last match, this could be something that maybe Tomas Angel takes a little bit of time and a few minutes away from potentially David Martinez's return. We obviously know time is a ticking, as it looks like Kike Oliveira and Denis Bouanga won't be going anywhere in the middle, but it'll be Olivier Giroud up top, maybe filling in that spot once it's time, but it'll be a little bit. But by the way, all good things. You see John Thorrington's article. That was really cool. His video that they came out with, a little interview about Olivier Giroud, and he said he was just an incredibly hungry player, which at 37, 38 years old, it's a really cool thing to see that he is still that hungry. So look, Atlanta United, they love to cross. So we have to make sure that bend but don't break defense, that we're ready to defend against crosses. And with the way Maxime Chanot has been playing on that back line, he's owning the air for us, something I would really like Jesus Murillo to be able to do. They love to cross. But here's the one other thing that Atlanta United doesn't do well. And yes, I know we're talking about Atlanta United quite a bit here and things that they don't do well, but they don't score within the first 15 minutes of a match. In fact, they've only done so one time in 13 matches this year. So LAFC needs to obviously prevent that early goal from happening, but it's not something that Atlanta United does. So we especially need to prevent that from happening because that gives them an added boost of confidence. Without the big weapons, without Yakumakis, and potentially without Thiago Almada, we cannot let this crowd get behind their club. And look, it is a holiday weekend, so maybe there will be a bunch of people not there, but they usually average between 50 and 60,000 people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium when LAFC comes to town. And again, we have never looked good inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We lost 5-0, that of course being the Joao Moutinho red card game, the first time we played there in 2018. And in 2021, losing 1-0 on a Joseph Martinez second half goal. Well, you know what? Joseph Martinez scored in both of those matches, but he is not walking through the door anytime soon. So no Joseph Martinez, no Miguel Almiron, who was a star in that first game, no Yakumakis, no Thiago Almada. I'm actually pretty optimistic about this match, if I do say so myself. So with that all being said, LAFC riding the high of making it to the quarterfinals of the Open Cup, riding the high of 3 straight shutout wins, clean sheets, whether it's Abraham Romero or whether it's Hugo Lloris, we are keeping a clean sheet. And now riding the high of that flight to Atlanta, not sure if any of the 42s were on board, but riding that high, getting into Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They looked happy. It was beautiful weather. It's obviously going to be indoor in Atlanta, so they'll be fine. I don't love playing on carpet. We'll have to see how Hugo Lloris deals with carpet. We'll have to see. We know we will not have Ilie Sanchez. We're hoping that Kai Kamara is back and ready to go. I have not seen the injury report for LAFC, but I have certainly seen the injury report for Atlanta. So with all that being said, let's talk about our players to watch. You guys know what we do here on One More Sleep. We go over players to watch, keys to the match, and then I will give you my score prediction. Here we go. And let's talk about first my players to watch. For LAFC, Philly, I'm channeling you here. I'm picking that low-hanging fruit because that low-hanging fruit, it doesn't matter if he's trying to score or if he's trying to pass. Everything lately that Denis Bouanga touches has turned to gold. And he has been, in my opinion, the best player in Major League Soccer over the last couple of matches. I know that Chicho Arango has something to say about that, but I right now will take Denis Bouanga over everybody else in the entire league. Denis Bouanga has been the best talisman, the best playmaker in Major League Soccer over the last month or so. And a player that I want you all to keep an eye on in this match is Caleb Wiley. Caleb Wiley for Atlanta. He plays on their back line. He loves to push up. Think of him as potentially a more offensively minded Cheeky Palacios or a more offensively minded Ryan Hollingshead, a player who loves to push up, a player who will be playing, I'm predicting this, will be playing for Team USA in the Olympics and could potentially make the roster for Team USA in the World Cup. Caleb Wiley is that good and potentially that special. Kick a ball pod. I'll hop on anytime you like. You just let me know. Caleb Wiley is special. He is fun to watch. He is very, very young and very, very good. And really one of the few weapons, healthy weapons that Atlanta United will have at their disposal. Again, we are predicting no Yorgos Giacomakis because of the injury. He is listed as out, and Thiago Almada likely not starting, if playing at all, dealing with a calf injury. So for now and long term, make sure you guys are keeping an eye on Caleb Wiley and, of course, Denis Bouanga doing all the Denis Bouanga things. I almost picked Timothy Tillman for this, but I figure since Philly's not here, half of it will be, I mean, it's not really a sleeper pick in Caleb Wiley, and then half of it will be the low-hanging fruit in Denis Bouanga, but you almost have to pick Denis Bouanga each and every match now with the way he's also been passing the ball. That is for sure. Kick a ball pod asks an interesting question. If Atlanta loses his Pineda out as coach, I mean, they're winless in their last 8. It is a, what's up, Dave? It is a hot seat in Atlanta for sure. But I mean, I don't know that they've had injury issues. It hasn't really been just the coach in Atlanta. They're scoring goals at times. I don't know. Maybe he's lost the locker room. Maybe something's going on there. We not an Atlanta United podcast. LAFC Vet, I'll give you my predicted starting 11. Remind me about that in a second once we get to the scoring prediction. I'll get you LAFC Vet asking right there on the bottom. You can see it asking for our starting 11. But those are our players to watch. Let's see what my keys to the match are anyway. The first of which is to keep the ball moving. LAFC has been passing at an extraordinary rate over the last couple of matches. And the other thing that I like, when we keep the ball moving, it means we're also just keeping the damn ball. We are keeping possession. We are controlling the match. And we need to do so, not just because it's on carpet, not just because it's going to be in front of 60,000 fans, not just because it's going to be in Atlanta where we have not scored, let alone won a match in our club's history, but because we play better with the ball. We play better with the ball. So let's keep the ball and keep the ball moving. It seems to make sense that if we possess the ball the majority of the time and we pass the way that we can, and we have shown, and it's not just the midfield, because now Denis Bouanga getting in on it, now Kike Oliveira getting in on it. I think that if we keep the ball moving and we just keep the ball, I mean, it's been beautiful. You mentioned it. Rob says here, Rob says in his little quote right here, it's been nice to see us actually keeping the ball and dictating play for once. That's because we're now playing with a true 9. And I think it'll be interesting if Kai Kamara is not ready to go. Tomas Angel had 15 touches. 15 over the course of 90 plus minutes. 15 touches. I think accidentally, if they put me in the lineup for 90 plus minutes, I would trip and fall over the ball more than 15 times and get more touches. But what Tomas Angel did was he kept making the runs. He kept putting himself in a good spot, and he played that number 9 role, not the aggressive number 9 role with the ball, but at least that true number 9 goal scoring, goal hawk mentality. And that's what we saw him eventually get the goal for. So maybe it's Tomas Angel. Maybe Matty Bogusz slides up, but I think with the injury to Ilie Sanchez, this comes back to LAFC Vet's question from earlier. I don't see at all Matty Bogusz coming up and playing the 9, only because it'll be Edward Atuesta, Timothy Tillman, and Matty Bogusz in the midfield. I think we start Tomas Angel back up top like we did last match alongside Denis Bouanga and Kike Oliveira. And we have LAFC Vet asking about Hollingshead into the lineup. Is Palencia's run of form good enough? We'll keep him starting. I think the question is more, will Omar Campos's run of form be good enough and keep him starting? And I actually think yes. I think that Ryan Hollingshead will remain on the bench. I think Omar Campos, personally, I think it'll be Omar Campos and Sergi Palencia, with Ryan Hollingshead coming in, maybe getting some minutes later on. He's been nursing like a neck and head issue, I think, from what I understand. So, yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Kai Kamara, but I think that Ryan Hollingshead will be coming in off the bench if he does come in at all. And then in the middle, I think you have to go right now with Maxime Chanot and Jesus Murillo, although we've seen Eddie Segura play well. We've seen Aaron Long play well. But I think they're going to go with Chanot and Murillo to start. Also, keep the sheet clean. If Charleston Battery can hold Atlanta United scoreless in regulation, then LAFC better be able to hold Atlanta United scoreless over the course of the entire match. I really do think that an emphatic, clean sheet is exactly what LAFC needs to, for the rest of the season, put those road woes behind them. We obviously won our last road match in St. Louis, and then the one before that, Las Vegas. So we are on a 2-game road winning streak in all competitions after starting out terribly this season on the road. I think we keep it going. We keep the ball moving. We keep the sheet clean, and we keep the streak going for LAFC. And not only that, but I think we do so to the tune of a 2-0 win with 2 more goal contributions from Denis Bouanga. I think that it is going to be Denis Bouanga with a goal and Denis Bouanga with an assist. And I'm going to say something that might be needed here for one player. Here's what I'm looking forward to in this match. And man, do I hope I'm right about this. I hope that the player who gets the second goal for us, because I believe one will be Denis Bouanga, but I think it'll be a Denis Bouanga setup to Edward Atuesta. We need something from Edward Atuesta this season. We need something from him to maybe get the chip off his shoulder, to maybe help him feel like the leader that we would like him to be. We need him to get the ball in the back of the net to maybe really feel like he is back in black and gold. Because I know he's played a ton of minutes for us, but he's gotten those early and sometimes silly yellow cards. He seems to be arguing almost every ball and every call at times with some of these referees. I really do think that it's going to be Denis Bouanga splitting space, maybe passing the ball outside the box. LAFC Vet You read my mind. And we get one of those howitzers from the outside by Edward Atuesta. We saw a couple of those before he left for Palmeiras. And now that he's back, I think it's something that he needs to remind everybody he has in his bag as he gets set to score what I'm hoping will be a goal that kind of re-energizes and reinvigorates Edward Atuesta over the course of this season. I think LAFC wins 2-0. I think that we are very lucky in that Giakoumakis is not playing. I think we are very lucky in that Thiago Almada is not 100%. But I still think that is a team of professional athletes out there in Atlanta United, and a team that obviously has owned us at home over the course of their tenure and our tenure in Major League Soccer. So we're good. It's going to take a little bit more of an extra effort, but I think that the way that the boys are playing right now, led by Danny Bwanga and Kike Oliveira, our midfield is going to have to lead the way with Edward Atuesta and, of course, Timothy Tillman and Matty Bogusz. I really like the way we match up in this game. The one thing we really need to be wary of, and remember, Atlanta loves to cross the ball. I think they lead Major League Soccer in crosses into the box. So we have to be very, very careful about all the crosses that they will be testing our back line with. But if we continue to defend the way that we have over the course of these last 3 matches, I think we will be fine. LAFC vet coming in with the solid knowledge. Yes, we talked about this a little bit on the last podcast, and we're hopefully going to talk about it on our next podcast when we recap the 2-0 victory over Atlanta tomorrow or even Sunday. That La Liga 2, if Stipe Buick's team, Real Valladolid, if they get promoted, the buy transfer or the buy clause does get activated, so he will be bought. And will come off the books for LAFC, which would be quite interesting. LAFC vet with the knowledge. Nicely done. So, yeah, look, I've got 2-0. I'm curious to hear what you all think. Hit us up in the chat or make sure you hit us up on social media at Defenders of the Bank on most of your social media platforms, at Defend the Bank on Twitter. And we want to know what you think. I've got 2-0, but what do you guys think? Is LAFC going to finally score our first goal at Mercedes-Benz Stadium? Are we going to come away with a win and keep the win streak alive on the road, bringing it to 3? I think we will. I would love to know what you guys all think. I want to thank you guys all for on Instagram for chiming in. And I definitely, all of you in the chat, all of you on YouTube, all of you on Twitter, everybody, thank you so much. Head on over to defendersofthebank.com. Maybe you purchase yourself a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that. Why not? It's a whole lot of fun. Defendersofthebank.com. Follow us on social media. Like, subscribe. Follow us wherever you do. And thank you for being a part of Defenders family. As always, one more sleep. Atlanta, they do play on turf. I've got 2-0. What do you have? Talk to me.